What's up, guys? It is Bipolar Dude here, and it is the start of Halloween month, October 2019. So today, to kick it off, I'm gonna talk about something really scary. Depression. Yes, that's where we're gonna do it, because you guys have basically heard, if you're keeping up with the bipolar anime that I got going on in my life. um, Basically, where we left off is I just got out of the mental hospital. So today, I would like to talk about the flip side of being bipolar, which is the depressed side, which is usually what happens after I get out of the hospital from a mania. But this is gonna kind of give an overview of my first experience. So, basically, I got out of the mental hospital. They let me go. I was released. And from then on, my life would never be like the same in everybody else's eyes. Because I was now someone who's been to a mental hospital. So, what do people think when you say that you've been in a mental hospital? Well, they think you're fucking crazy. And they're not really wrong, but also people don't generally want to invest their time into somebody who they think is crazy. So I was trying to, I guess, after getting out of the mental hospital, continue to be manic, like continue to be like I was Jesus, of Christ-like of Christ-like consciousness, and just continue to do what I do and spread messages and fucking write and do all this stuff. But it was like it wasn't possible. It wasn't possible for me to lie to myself anymore about how special I was when everybody in my life was distancing themselves and talking, and I knew what they were talking about. And basically, at the end of the day, nobody, they were just like, Evan's life is over. He's fucking insane now, and that's the thing. So that's basically what people were saying and thought. So I began to think like that. And also, once you come down from a mania, it's it. That's it. That's it. As soon as there's like a little dip, it's like, oh, we're finished this. And then your brain's like, whoa, okay, fuck. And then it like just fucking just plummets down into depression. Like, because your brain is like wired, right? And it's just like fucking getting 2 hours of sleep every day and shit like that. As soon as you are not manic anymore, your brain has to like reset. Like your brain just crashes. And that's why like people with bipolar, because I personally think most of the issue with bipolar is mania, and mania makes the depression happen. But I know there are many people that have even longer, they have really long periods of depression, and they're bipolar. So, I mean, that's the thing. But, yeah, so, but it's like a cycle. So it's like as soon as you're ready, as soon as you can escape depression, you want to go back to that fucking amazing feeling of mania. It's like an addiction in a weird way, where it's like you've been able to unlock this side of your brain where everything just feels amazing, and you get addicted to that mindset, and you want it back after when you're depressed. But anyway, so when the depression hit and I lost a lot of my friends, and my family didn't know what to think of me, and I could just tell, and so I went down, because I thought about all of the stuff and like how much debt I had from leaving college, and how I have a court date and shit, because of me flashing people at Childish Gambino concert and shit like that. And so I had a court date, and it was all hitting extremely hard, and my because of the crash of, from Mania, my memory was shot. Like, I couldn't remember what was going on through my day, and it made me I just started sleeping, like, and it got worse and worse and worse. So it was like 14 to 16 hours a day. Like, I'd only be awake for like 6 hours out of the day. Um, and I didn't want to take a shower at all, or pee, or eat, or anything. I just wanted to lay in my bed and feel relief from actual existence. Like, that's how it felt. And, you do that for a while, like a week or 2 weeks, and you really just like rationalize in your head how you're never going to be able to pick yourself back up. And, all you like doing is escaping life, so maybe death is the best option. And I know for me, I was weird. Like, I would, like, just to be okay with certain things and dying, like being able to, like, just stab myself or something. Like, but, like, it was like, I would envision, like, swords and knives and stuff, like, coming in, like, while I was asleep. Like, I would fantasize about it. And it was really fucked. And I know at this time, it just was like that. And there was very few people who would reach out to me sometimes, but this is kind of how, like, my life was. Like, when I was awake, I was thinking about how maybe I should die, and then, but most of the time I was just sleeping and not taking a shower, not doing anything, just being in my room. Um, I think at some point, which is crazy, anybody that I talk about and these kind of videos are to be left anonymous. I mean, I'm going to, obviously not me. You guys know me. But what happened in this first depression that I had, which lasted about like 7 to 8 months, maybe. Um, Maybe longer. Maybe like a whole year. But basically, there was one of my ex-girlfriends, was back in town from college, and we ended up talking, and she came over, and we ended up becoming a thing again. Like, and this is terrible because you don't want to be in a relationship when you're depressed. But also, I was like, maybe this will help or whatever. So, this ended up being like my most beta fucking relationship ever. Like, I mean, like, I had no leg to stand on, no self-confidence, everything. So it was like, if there was a reason to be insecure, or if, she was mad at me, it was like I couldn't defend myself mentally. I couldn't do it. And I would end up feeling stupid or fucking frustrated at myself and shit like that, because I couldn't keep up with someone who wasn't depressed. So, but anyway, so I got into that relationship, and what ended up happening is I just said a bunch of like sending good morning texts, because it was long distance. She ended up going back to college, like, just very long messages of things I think a good boyfriend would say to their girlfriend. It wasn't even like really things I was feeling, which is bad on my part. But also, it's like, it was something, I guess maybe I was lying to myself, and maybe in some way I was feeling them because I was lying to myself. But like, I would just send all the stuff because I wanted to make her happy and smile, but like, they weren't genuine feelings of mine. Like, I originally went to school for creative writing, so I wanted to use that talent to like bring an emotion. But so, she's long distance, and then I had one friend who would come and hang out with me. The only thing that really saved me from like really being too sad and maybe like to go on was actually League of Legends. Straight up, League of Legends is one of those lifesavers. I'm not sure if Naruto was in this depression episode, like this depression arc, but then Naruto also was. But definitely this time it was League of Legends. So I would play, and then she would go on like social media and be like, my boyfriend cares about League of Legends than he does like answering my call or like talking to me and like all this other stuff. And so it was very like, well, it was very like if she had a problem, like I, like I said, didn't stand up for myself or like didn't, I wasn't able to be witty or like diffuse a situation in a way where it was a lot of her being upset with how I handled things, and she would come to me, like call me up and be like complaining about her day, and I just wanted to make a joke about it, like I just wanted to be like, yeah, no, that sucks, look at this, blah blah, and I wanted her to laugh, but she was like, is this how you handle your problems? Like you just like don't even take yourself seriously or like whatever. And I'm like, yeah. Like I don't think I actually said that to her, but like in my head I thought about it. I was like, yeah, no, I don't like taking this stuff seriously because it shouldn't be serious. It's just your life. But and also I was depressed, so I was thinking about dying every day. So like her talking about a couple of things like going on in college and like little things. I didn't really feel for her as much as I was like, yeah, cool. But anyway, so that was little things. So but like it was, so that made me insecure, and it kind of made her like wear the pants a bit because she would call, ask for help, I wouldn't be able to do it right, and then she'd scold me. So like that's kind of how that went down. And then later on into the relationship, this was the biggest fuck up on my part. Is she actually went to Rome, and when she did that, she actually ended up making out with one of the people that was going to Rome with her. She did it on like a band trip. But point is, I was still very much believing in values of Jesus and things, just like putting myself to a standard that's like totally not even achievable by like human emotion. To the point where it's like, I've had people I know that have cheated on each other, and it ruins anything. I've seen it like fucking be terrible for everyone. But then, this point, I was like, what if I could be like Jesus and forgive her? Because there's like a bunch of things where it's like we are adulterous to Jesus and God all the time. It's because there's like this passage about how it's like a covenant of him like he's married to us in a way. And so I was like, I wonder if I could be that. And so she left, when she explained to me, she threw this whole long message, and I said, it's okay, I still love you, blah blah blah, and I like tried to do that. Little did I know, I was not that strong. And anybody who is, good for you, but ever since that day, I could not stop thinking about her cheating on me, like, since the day we broke up. I mean, or till the day we broke up. But anyway, so I'm playing League with my friends and blah, 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 and I would randomly go on Snapchat to see what's going on, and I would see, like, her legs on, like, some other dude in college, and it would just freak me the fuck out, and it would just fucking hurt so much. Like, it would just hurt a lot, and so I played League of Legends, I hung out with my buddy, and we did drugs. I mean, we smoked weed, we fucking did stuff, and eventually that got led into doing acid. And so, I didn't tell my girlfriend that I was gonna do this because I knew that she was not going to be cool with it. And but like like the old saying goes, it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So I didn't, and then I just did acid for the first time with my buddy, and it was crazy cool. I'm gonna be honest, it was like fucking insanely sweet. And it turned my whole perspective around on shit, and like I almost cried, or maybe I did, or whatever, but me and my friend, we were like, is this what love is? Like fucking, we were really fucking tripping. And like all the walls were just swirling and shit, and it was just like, I didn't even know a drug could make my brain do this. Like, I had no idea. I was like, how is this possible? But you know, that's like fucking acid. It just fucking melts your brain. You know what I mean? Like if you do acid the next day, at least for me, you feel like, well, like you can't even eat food because it like tastes worse and shit. But but anyway, so I did that, and me and my friend, we went to my brother's room and like, guess what? Guess what? We just did acid. And he was like, what? What the fuck? You guys are fucking idiots. And it was so funny. But like, you know, so she found out about it. I told her because I was like, you know, and I'm just gonna be honest. And she fucking reprimanded me, scolded me, blah blah. She's like, this will fuck you up. This would be, you're already depressed. Like, you can't just be in a bad mindset and do that. It'll like change your brain forever. And I was like, it was great. And then it was just like she threatened to leave and stuff, and I like was like, no, 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 no. Like, why can't? What's so wrong? And she was like, I don't. Anyway, that's how I imagine that going. Or I remember it. But then eventually, and this kind of ends this depression arc. Not a lot of super details. I know that there are definitely details of depression that are even going to be more talking about that, and maybe, you know, I don't know. But this kind of ends this whole story, and it goes into what next video of my bipolar anime will be, is like going back into another manic episode. And so that'll be a few things, because a lot of things happen when I'm manic. Not a lot of things happen when I'm depressed. So there you go. But yeah, so basically what happened was, there was this girl who lived in LA, probably still does. She lived there, and we were talking while I was like, well, not like, we were just talking like friends, while I was with my girlfriend. And one night, I don't know what it was, maybe I was just sexually frustrated. That was another thing, like, my girlfriend, she was not one to just really make it happen all the time. So I guess I was like, even if I tried to, and I don't sex now, like, but like I really wanted to do that, and it got to the point where it was like, I would say like, can I do all this stuff, blah, 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 and I would just be like, can you just like say yes or no to my responses? And she ended up doing that, and I was just such a beta fucking bitch, dude. It was just like, man, dude, it was so fucking bad. I should have left as soon as that thing happened in Rome. Like, I should have done that, because there was no way that I was able the whole time. And I mean, we even went to like a Big Sean concert or something, and I was like, are you cheating on me? Like, I just gotta, are you still, like, and she fucking ran my ass on the ground with like how inappropriate and uncool, and like how I don't trust her, and why would I bring this up now? Which, looking back on it, makes it more suspicious. But, you know, I didn't know, I wasn't very, I didn't use my head a lot, and when I was in relationships back then, especially now, especially when I was depressed, I had no way to compete. So, but anyway, basically this is where I start to look like the bad guy, and when I get manic, it'll look like I'm even more of a bad guy. But, so I'm texting this girl from LA, and she eventually is like, we ended up sexting that night, and I was like, well, if I did it, I can't be in this relationship anymore. So my girlfriend came over, and I like was like, look, and I broke up with her, and she like she was like, and then she like went out and like drove away in the car, and then like turned around and came back in crying, and was like, why are you do? And to be fair, I didn't tell her why, and it was out of the blue, and maybe she thought I would never have done that because I didn't have a fucking sack of balls for the whole relationship. But anyway, so that happened, and that relationship ended, and it kind of, that's what ramped me up into my next mania, which I would describe as my most hypersexual mania. I've like was a lot of that happened and was going on. So that concludes this episode. Um, uh, and I will, you know, the next video will be on that. But as always, whatever you guys do, just don't kill yourself, you know? It can always get better. Bipolar dude out! Woo!
Honestly, the irony is priceless, 'cause I'm caught on the fence.